Welcome to the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show.
Cup of Joe Wrestling Show?
With Joey Harris. A podcast for the wrestling fan on the go. So take your favorite beverage of choice and join Joey as he takes a look at some of the biggest shows on the WWE Network.
This is the Cup of Joe Wrestling Show. I am your host, Joey Harris, and this is the podcast for the wrestling fan on the go or still in quarantine, so we can still take our favorite beverage of choice as we look at the biggest shows on the WWE Network. Folks, as we are recording this, night one of the two-night WrestleMania is in the books. I couldn't watch it live. I'm about halfway through it now, but an interesting presentation so far. But I've got my Sprite Zero Sugar here, and we are going to get at it as we record this. David Schramm passed away this past week. He was such a great actor, played Roy Biggins on Wings, and Wings is such an underrated show. Flew under the radar, 8 seasons on NBC in the same universe as Cheers and Frasier, and actually created by the same 3 men that created Frasier. But such a good show, so underrated, and I have got to get the DVDs of that show, the complete series. Everywhere you look that it is streaming, due to music rights, not all of the episodes are there, and up to I think they said 23 episodes are missing. That's an entire season's worth of shows that are missing. A couple here, a couple there. So don't sleep on the DVD sets, people. I've been telling people this for years. My wife wanted to watch Friends all the way through. I said, not until we get the DVDs. Do not get the Blu-rays, get the DVDs. And she said, why? I said, because they had things on the DVD sets in the episodes that are missing on streaming or Blu-ray that make an entirely different episode. The episodes are so much funnier and so different. So don't sleep on the DVD sets, people, especially as more and more things come out to streaming. You don't want to pay $15 a month to watch a show that you can get the DVDs for much cheaper and keep them. So keep a DVD or a Blu-ray player and don't sleep on these DVD sets. So just a word of wisdom from me to you. But let's get right into it. Today we're going to be looking at SuperClash II from the AWA. SuperClash II took place on May the 2nd, 1987 from the Cow Palace in Daly City, California, just south of San Francisco. 2,800 people attended the show. There's no intro to this, as this was taped for AWA TV shows and was not going to be released either on closed circuit pay-per-view or an official video release. We go right into the ring announcer announcing once again the bane of my existence, piece of human slime, rock and roll Buck Zumhoff versus Sheik Adnan LKC. Rod Trongard is again your announcer. The Sheik had busted Buck's radio over his head in the past to set up this match, and I'm just torn up about it. This is a slow-paced match. An anti-Sheik chant goes out occasionally, but this match just has no heat in it at all. They just keep grabbing rest holds. This is a bad opening match. You need to have a good match to get the crowd pumped up and going for it. Sheik gets the win with his foot on the ropes, and our long national nightmare is over. Super Ninja with Mr. Go versus DJ Peterson. Peterson starts out quickly. This match is a little bit better than the last one, which isn't saying much. It's like damning it with faint praise. Rod Trongard rambles on at times. Intense action, followed by rest holds. Super Ninja has the advantage, then Peterson comes back and forth. The match ends in a draw. AWA Ladies Championship match, Sherry Martel with Doug Summers versus Medusa Michelli. Stalling to start, Ray the Crippler Stevens joins commentary. Nice solid mat wrestling. A Sherry sucks chant goes out. Sherry is so good here, though. Medusa gets Sherry down, but the referee is arguing with Summers, who's on the apron. Medusa comes over, grabs at Summers. Sherry comes over and gets the win with a roll-up. AWA Heavyweight Championship match. Nick Bockwinkel versus Curt Hennig. Stanley Blackburn, AWA Commissioner, is introduced. Larry Zbyszko is at ringside and demands a match with the winner, which he gets assurances that he will get. Good chain wrestling by both men. The older I get, the more I just appreciate both men, especially Nick Bockwinkel. So good. Fantastic chain wrestling by both. Hennig holds a side headlock for a while. He then takes a nasty looking bump to the floor. A Larry Sucks chant goes up towards Zbyszko, who is watching from ringside. Larry Sucks is the chant that I've heard more and more as I look at more and more of Zbyszko. He was so good at that role, but it was a role that only Larry Zbyszko could play. The stalling tactic, heel heat player. This is a pretty even match. Bockwinkel is the veteran. He is working his ass off. Hennig goes on offense. He's working the leg. They start to have near falls. Zbyszko slips something to Hennig, who knocks Bockwinkel out and pins him and becomes the new champion. Stevens isn't buying it. He goes to the ring to protest to Blackburn. Stevens grabs at Zbyszko. A roll of coins falls out. Blackburn says the championship is held up. Pending a review of the tape, a bullshit chant goes out. Bockwinkel says he was knocked out. He and Hennig get into a shoving match. Hennig says he is the champion. Hennig hits the referee. Zbyszko says he is the number one contender. The Midnight Rockers, Shawn Michaels and Marty Jannetty, and Ray Stevens versus Doug Summers, Buddy Wolf, and Kevin Kelly with Sherry Martel. Kevin Kelly is the future Nails, and here he looks more like Thor than he does Nails. The next few years are not going to be good to Kevin Kelly. The Midnight Rockers are over coming out. Scott Ledoux is the referee. The introductions take a long time. The match is slow to start. Rod Trongard talks the history of the matches that have taken place at the Cow Palace and puts over Ray Stevens versus Pepper Gomez as this big match, which it was, that held the record for the Cow Palace. But he puts it over ever since learning about it just previous in this episode, which you learn that when he learns, because he says, I did not know that. But boy, once he gets it, he will hit you over the head with it. Marty Jannetty has quick moves. Kevin Kelly is deceptively strong. The heels take over. Jannetty is selling hard here. Jannetty takes a big over-the-top rope bump. Jannetty is fighting back. Sherry is amazing in her job. The match becomes too slow-paced. Michaels is finally tags in, and he cleans house. Stevens is tagged in and gets the pin on Doug Summers. Jerry Blackwell with again piece of slime Buck Zumhoff versus Boris Zukov with Sheik Adnan Al-KC. Buck needs to stop being on my TV less, or not at all, period. Stalling to start. Blackwell was quite a draw in 1987. He is popular here. Too much stalling in this one, though. Blackwell finally takes over on Zukov, who then makes a comeback. Back and forth, the referee takes a bump. The heels double team. Blackwell ducks their attacks, hits Zukov with a clothesline, and gets the pin. Russ Francis and Jimmy Snuka versus the Terrorist and the Mercenary. Scott Ledoux is the referee again. Too much stalling to start. Francis chases the Terrorist to the back. Back in the ring, the heels take over. Long side headlock on Snuka. Francis finally tagged in. Snuka hits a flying headbutt, and Francis hits a flying splash for the win. They then brawl afterward. Rod Trongard interviews Larry Zbyszko, who says there should be no controversy in the title match. Rod Trongard then interviews Jimmy Snuka and Russ Francis about the championship match, and they give their opinion. Rod then interviews Jerry Blackwell about the championship match. Finally, Rod interviews Nick Bockwinkel and Stanley Blackburn about the match, and Bockwinkel is fantastic here. Rod then closes out the show. Really good show from the AWA, but the downward slide is starting to continue. No Gagnes in this match. Gagne, not pronounced like it's spelled. Folks, if you like the show, please leave a review and a rating on iTunes or whatever platform you currently get the show on. It helps people to find the show. There are a number of ways that you can contact me. You can follow the show's Twitter at cupofjoepod. You can email the show at cupofjoewrestlingshow@gmail.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at @TheJoeyHarris. Folks, stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you for joining me this week. Until next time, this is Joey Harris saying so long from stately Maine Manor.
The Cup of Joe Wrestling Show is a production of Baby Kangaroo Media.